Marcus Aurelius Pope was on the Ion College Basketball podcast with Matt Norlander last week. We, I think, have made more cut up videos about this podcast episode with Mark Pope and Matt Norlander than any other piece of content that has ever been released. There was so much good stuff that came out of this. It was like an hour and a half long. Mark Pope was just talking through everything, giving really well thought out answers. And quite frankly, there's been a lot that has come out of this that is worth discussing on the Sleepers Media channel. And another one, this is a quote that got a lot of attention over the weekend, my friend. He was asked by Matt Norlander, what grade would you give yourself after year one as the head coach of Kentucky? Mark Pope said this, quote, if I was going to grade myself, I'd probably grade myself at a B or a B minus. Clearly, we didn't get our end result. Our job is to go win it. We didn't get that done. I felt like we did a lot of things really, really well that I'm very proud of. I felt like as a head coach, I failed our team a little bit in terms of picking and choosing the places where we're going to have a relentless standard, where anything less than it was going to be successful. So one of our big keys going into the season is we're going to have a standard that we will refuse to accept anything less in some facets of the game that are controllable. I think we're going to do a much better job with that. End quote. That whole second half of that quote, I'll be honest, I have no idea what it means. Felt like a whole lot of kind of just big words about nothing. Like we didn't have a standard. I need a better standard about some things without naming what the things are. But the first half of this is very pointed. He said he'd give himself a B or a B minus for his first year as Kentucky's head coach. Is that an appropriate grade?
So my initial reaction is two things. One, I think it is appropriate when you look at the big picture of what could have occurred during the season, right? I think that Mark Pope was put in a position where he did have to get together a team very, very quickly in his first year at Kentucky. There was a lot of expectations put on him, and I think the season had its ups and downs, but for the most part, I thought he won some big games. I thought he had the fan base very much bought in, and I think that is a pretty fair grade, I think, for his first year at Kentucky. And hand up on this one, Kentucky. This is the issue I have, though. I can't help doing the thing that they hate when how would this be received if another coach said this? Like, do you think it's received the same way if another coach says, "Oh, yeah, I mean, it's a B. That was a
I don't
B."
know. I don't know.
Because it feels like it would be. It feels like it would be because Kentucky is all about like it's bigger than just winning basketball games. It's about banners. It's about win. It's about hanging banners in Rupp and calling a year a B that you didn't hang a banner or like didn't even put yourself really in that great a position to win one. Like where they finished in the SEC, obviously things happened, right, and things go one way or the other. But I don't know. I just can't get that thought out of my head that if another person coach had said this at the helm of Kentucky, it maybe wouldn't have been received as well.
Maybe, maybe.
But I think it's fair. I think that's the point I want to get. I actually think it's a pretty fair grade to himself.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Just like what grade does Mark Pope deserve for year one is a really, really tough one. Depending on who you talk to, I think you would get wildly different answers. Like my gut reaction when I first saw that he said this, Mark Pope's a humble guy. I wouldn't expect Mark Pope to come in and give himself like an A or an A plus unless they were hanging banners. So, I'm not surprised this was his answer, but I was a little bit surprised on the surface because I think most Kentucky fans would give him an A, don't you? Like the fans themselves. We are not members of BBN. We're not born and raised Kentucky fans. We don't root for this team. We just cover them. So we're different. But fans that root for this program, when they hired Mark Pope to fast forward a year and 3 months later, what grade do you give Mark Pope? I think universally Kentucky fans would give him an A. You think I'm off on that or no?
Um,
I mean, they had a bunch of injury issues. They were a
You know
top,
what? I don't think they would. I don't think they would. I think they actually would give him a B plus or something, something in the B range.
really.
Yeah, I do.
If that's the case, this is a moment I've been waiting a full year for. The honeymoon is over. If we're not giving Mark Pope an A grade for a year where, I mean, they were a top 16 team, made a Sweet 16 for the first time in 6 seasons, despite battling crazy injuries, there's a bunch of recruiting momentum right now. All these things, good vibes everywhere. If that wasn't an A in year one, then okay, we are holding him to the same standard we would hold other coaches to
Well, I think
officially.
projecting maybe they call it an A, but I'm saying the season in a bubble.
Okay.
Like there was a lot of injuries. They won some big games. This team finished where in the SEC?
But it's not Mark Pope's fault there were injuries, right? Like, if anything, the injury situation resulting in a Sweet 16 helps Mark Pope's grade more than it does otherwise. Like he dragged a very hurt team to a Sweet 16 is how I view it. He also should be careful with he dragged them. The committee gave him Brad Underwood in the round of 32. And when Brad Underwood gets to the round of 32, he usually soils his loins and runs away.
Who they
So,
have in the first game?
who
Troy.
remember? Oh yeah, it was short. Tate Conaway. Shout out to the Hoosiers.
Hey, Conway. And then they had a chance to play Tennessee again, and yeah, for the most part, Tennessee blew their doors off.
Not here to do revisionist March stuff. I'm just because again, this is difficult for me. I I just feel like Kentucky fans have overwhelmingly given Mark Pope 100% approval rating, and this is not Kentucky fans'
I do
grade.
too, but
So
can't you do that while giving him a B?
I just think that would mean the honeymoon's over. But I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe Kentucky fans would give him a B, and this is on par. The flip side of this that I was gonna say, I feel like I'm projecting my view of how Kentucky fans grade him right now. Not what I would grade him, not what I think Mark Pope would grade himself. Um, but the way Mark Pope phrased this was what? Basically, we didn't win at all. That's my job, right? Do you like that sort of approach from the Kentucky head coach? You have to have that at Kentucky, right?
Yeah. Can't coach at Kentucky if you're just out there to not do that.
Which would mean, as a result, if that's the way you're framing it, we agree. Mark Pope understands it. He gets the job. It's perfect. So if we accept that premise that the head coach at Kentucky is there to win titles, and Mark Pope knows that, and he's looking back at year one, yeah, well, I didn't win a title, so guess I get a B. Get where I'm going? If it's really about titles, is a B the appropriate self grade
In
for a
year one,
team?
yeah. In year
Well,
one, yes.
so now you're going to see you're in between two. This is why this is difficult.
This I don't like this.
Well, hear me out, because
Well,
if it's
no, because in year one, given everything else with the circumstances, I guess. See, man, I am going through it right now.
but
Is
if
that
it's
ex
if we're doing that, then it's an A. If we're doing all these jump through the hoop caveats, he deserves an A. If we're not, if we're saying championships are the standard, then let me remind you that the blank X's and O's, this is what happened in year one. They went 24 and 12. 12 losses is tied for the second most losses a Kentucky team has had in 16 seasons. It wasn't a great season by Kentucky standards. It's tied for the second most losses they've had in a season in 16 seasons. They had the 10th ranked offense. He's supposed to be an offensive guru. 10th ranked offense is good, except for the fact that two of the last three John Calipari teams had better offenses than that relative to their season.
Hmm.
So, like you said, it's about championships. They didn't win the SEC regular season. They didn't win the SEC tournament. They didn't make a Final Four. So, which one is it, right? If it's I'm the Kentucky head coach, I understand my job is championships. Then year one was not a B effort. You didn't do it. You didn't come close to doing it anywhere. None of this was close to a championship. But if we're saying the other side of this, which I think is totally fair, if we're saying the other side of this is, well, it's year one. Well, he restored the vibes. Well, his team was really hurt. then just give him the A, right? To me, there's not a middle ground. Either we're jumping through hoops and we're giving him an A because vibes are high, or championship's the standard. And in that case, you failed, right? Like you are the coach of Kentucky. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't understand how the output is. Well, the standards championships, I won none. I'll take a B, right?
All right, I had the answer. I
What is
got
it?
I got to the point. I need you to think back to your school days. Do you mind?
I'm there.
When was the last time you were broken up over getting a B instead of an A?
Never.
We're fine. We're fine. Number nine is in the ahead of us. That's what we're worried about.
Let me ask you this.
Wait, also, hold on a second. I need to hold you accountable.
What?
March is fluky. You're telling me that he doesn't get a good grade unless he wins a title?
I'm saying that's what Mark Pope himself is saying he's graded on. I mean,
Oh,
he in this answer, he is giving the curve here, right? He said, my rubric is championships. I'm the Kentucky head coach. If that's your rubric, you don't get a participation B for just being there and getting good vibes. The direction was win a championship.
yeah.
But again, I'm okay. I'm sitting here as myself. I am okay saying the rubric isn't a championship in year one. If we want to just grade Mark Pope overall and like, was it a good season? Was it fun? Are Kentucky fans on board? He deserves an A. But to end the season and then sit here and self-evaluate and be like, well, I'm at Kentucky. My job is championships. Okay, then you failed your job. If we're saying that's the bar, let's evaluate based on what you're saying the bar is. But to me, that's not what happened. He kind of tried to split the middle. He's like, it's championships. I have none, but give me a B. Like, no, which one is it? You know?
So we're moving goalposts for Mr. Pope.
I'm fine either way is the point. If he wants to sit here, but I like honestly self-evaluate, give yourself an A. If we're ignoring the championship side of this, which I don't think Mark Pope is,
You can't do that.
he either deserves an A if you take out the championship element, or he deserves like a C minus or a D.
No, we would have had to move it to a full segment if he gave himself an A.
Well, this is a full segment already, so
No, I'm talking about like the full episode.
we'd give
We
him
would
the
have had it. We
full.
would have had an hour-long special that Mark Pope gave himself an A in the year he just did everything that you just said he did.
So honest, this is Mark Pope being preventative. This is
Yes,
Mark Pope making sure we can't do an entire week on Mark Pope gave himself an A.
this is special by Mark
Got
Pope.
it. Okay. What grade do you give Mark Pope then in year one? After we've just argued both sides of this equation, the two different rubrics you could grade Mark Pope on. What grade does he get for year one?
Um,
B or B minus?
he passed. It's a pass-fail quiz.
It's pass fail.
Pass-fail, and he passed.
Okay. I feel like you dodged this somehow.
No, honestly, it was a little pop quiz-ish, and how he had to
Sure.
get things together very quickly, and he passed.
This is the tough one though, that I felt like you were, I don't know. You didn't even know this is coming, and I feel like you were trying to dodge it. Year two, Mark Pope, exact same results as year one, Mark Pope. 24 and 12, 10 and 8 in the SEC, tied for sixth in the conference, and a Sweet 16 loss. What grade does he get in year two with those outputs?
This is why I was never a teacher.
Is it just another BB minus? Is Mark Pope going to be able to skate through his career making Sweet 16s with
If
no championships, getting a B grade?
if he does this again, it's got to be a C plus.
Like it's now, so that this helps us solve it. So year one, we were giving him a curve. Year
Yes,
one, it's year one. Your team's hurt. We'll judge you differently than we will in the future.
which we have to. I think it's fair to do such,
Okay.
even though I started this video off saying it wasn't. This is experience for
I
me.
mean, it certainly feels better to give him a B or an A, even. Like I would advocate for, give him an A if we're grading him on a curve. It was a good year. It feels better and more appropriate to do that than to give him like an F or a D because he didn't win a championship. There was a lot of adversity they hit with injury stuff.
Yeah.
If Kerr Kriisa was healthy, they would have won a national championship, man.
Kirk Krisa's broken foot derailed the season.